Hey guys, how's everyone doing? This is Nick from ForexNoobs.com with the daily analysis. I'm just double checking something. Yeah, everything's working. So in today's analysis, we're going to be looking for price action setups. We're going to be looking for setups across all these pairs to the right here and all these time frames. When I say price action setups, what I mean is continuation setups, reversal setups, all kinds of price action setups. Doesn't really matter. So let's get started. You guys can hear me, right? Just double checking everything because normally a bunch of people say hello. And there's a bunch of people in here, but no one's saying anything. But the audio thing is moving up and down. Oh, there we go. Right, anyway, so let's get started then. I'm always paranoid that something's up with the mic or something like that when people don't say hello right away. First of all, AUDJPY, we need some lower support resistance areas. We have to go back to 2016. It's a bit, that data is a bit old, but you know, when it's the only data you have to work with, then that's what you need to use. So I'm going to place an area here. It's quite an obvious one, although it is messy. There is a lot of bounces from here. Big bounce from there, kind of move sideways there, blah, 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 loads of bounces. So we're going to place one there. Let's see how, well, coincidentally, it's bouncing right from there. Let's place a lower one in case it breaks even further down. This one's a bit trickier. I'm going to go with the freshest data, which is a bounce from these lows here. When you're looking at support resistance and it's kind of messy, so for example, there's some bounces from here, then there's two bounces lower, always go with the most recent bounces. So the most recent bounces at this area, I'm going to keep it at that area. Right, so let's see how this plays out. It's already pulling away from this low on AUDJPY, so it's too late to enter a trade. If you wanted to enter, you should have already been in it. Like maybe on the 8 hour, that would have been, yeah. It would have been like pretty much at market open. You would have had to enter. Right, so AUD New Zealand, nothing much going on there. It's just moving sideways on or near the support area. You guys should check out the lower time frames for the new setup on this one. There is maybe some potential here. But we'll discuss that one further on the forum because that's members only setups. But yeah, do check out the 1 hour because it is moving sideways a little bit on the lower time frames, especially. Yeah. Check out the 1 hour, guys. But other than that, nothing much. It's pretty much just moving sideways between these two support resistance areas. And right now it's moving very sideways on the 4 hour. Right, so AUDUSD has broken that low. So last week we were looking at this low. We had two options. Either it was going to stall out here on one of the large time frames. So let's actually switch to the daily, guys. Either it was going to stall out here and give us a nice reversal setup, which was a potential, but that never happened. We never got a good reversal setup from here. Or it was going to break below, and then I was going to look for a continuation setup. So it has broken below, looking for a pullback to this resistance area for a short trade from here. This should be a pretty decent continuation. Let's place some extra support on AUDUSD. Whoa. This one's a bit trickier to place support on. Right. I'm going to place one down here, but that's pretty low. Maybe there. It's not that great of an area, but It's the only data we have. We'll place it there for now. We'll see what price does. If it reaches that level, if it stalls out at this level, then we'll confirm this area and we'll keep it on. If it just cuts straight through it, then we will remove that area. But it's the best we can do for now. We don't have that much data. If you want more data, you have to go back to 2009, which I'm not really bothered with doing, to be honest. I'd rather just place what I see now, wait for price to drop down. If it hits that area and it stalls, then we can confirm that as a support resistance area. It's a bit tricky when you don't have much data. And what do I mean by data? I mean, when you scroll back, price moving through the areas is data. If we have a lot of data, we can place our support resistance area as well. If not, then it's a bit tricky, but you can still place them and just see how they work in practice. So for AUDUSD, what I'm looking for right now, I want to see a pullback to this resistance area. Even just a quick pullback, because at this resistance area right now, there are sellers, or bears more accurately. There are bears. So there are sell orders, and when price pushes up here, if everything goes well, those sell orders will trigger and it'll start pushing down. It'll get some momentum on its way down. Also, that would give us a much better entry than entering right now. If we were to enter right now, we'd need a pretty large stop loss to have a safe stop. Probably above this resistance area, which would mean that our target needs to be, all the way down here to get a 1 to 2 risk reward ratio. If instead we wait for a pullback, we can have a better stop and way better risk reward ratio. So I'm going to wait for a pullback on that one. The risk, as always, of waiting for a pullback is that the pullback does not happen and price keeps falling. That's a total possible scenario. That would mean that you miss out on a trade. But to be honest, I think it's better to miss out on a potential move than to take a risky trade just to be in the trade. Number one goal for traders is to protect the capital you have, not to make more money. So protect the money you have, not make more money. The number one goal is to protect the money you have. Number two can be make money. The number one goal, protect the money you have. How do you protect the money you have? You trade safely, you trade smartly, and entering short right now, in my personal opinion, is not safe. I'd rather wait for that pullback. So, Euro AUD. Euro AUD is pushing up. Strong move up. Support resistance for this one looks even tougher. Yeah, look at this. 2009. So we're getting AUDUSD is going into places that it hasn't been for a long time. It was there in 2016, but not very long. Before that was 2009. So this is rare areas for AUD at the moment. I'm going to place an area there, but there's not much we can do here. There's not many good support resistance areas. So we'll just skip this pair for now. EuroCAD. EuroCAD, interesting move last week. Pushed away from this resistance area. A few of you took this trade short on, the 6 hour or the 8 hour. A few of you messaged me on Skype about it, asked me if you should hold for the weekend or close. My suggestion was to close for the weekend because, price was a fair way to its target. So I figured you may as well close it. It just depends where you entered, of course, and where your target was and all that. For those of you who didn't close it, don't freak out just because it's pulling back. That's completely fine and that's normal. I would expect this to probably either move sideways or continue down. I don't really see it rushing up today anyway. Because we're already seeing attempts at price rushing up and it's pulling back down. So this is just what I am reading with the price action, but the Forex market is changes very quickly. So this could change completely. But right now it's moving sideways. So I wouldn't be surprised if it continues to move sideways or if we get a bit more selling and it goes back down to an area where you can exit, maybe not down all the way to your target, but yeah, I would just say hold on to this one if you didn't close out for the weekend, guys. GBP, this one's just trending down. You know, if you wanted to be in a short, you should have been in it already. It was maybe an opportunity on some of the smaller time frames, a rebound continuation of sorts. But yeah, right now there's no tradable setup. JPY, bit of a reversal maybe, but I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Too messy. Prices stalling out all through this this area in between here. Oops, wrong tool. Prices stalling out all through there. I'm not gonna short there. No thanks. USD. There was a lot of you who were long on USD last week. So you were basically, let me zoom in. Who held on to the long over the weekend? Yeah, it is pulling back a little now. It was a bit of a weird long. It was on the lower time frames. Some of the longs were even on the lower time frames. They were using the new setup. Some of you longed on the 4-hour time frame. Depending on what your target was, it did potentially hit target. It just totally depends on where your entry was, where your stop loss was, all that stuff. Some of you may have just missed target before it pulled back, which is unfortunate, but that happens sometimes. Some of you may have just hit target before it pulled back. So those of you who are still holding on, I'd say there was a pretty strong reaction from that area. Would have been hard to exit this one quickly, to be honest. Take a quick look at the 1 hour. I just want to see what price. Yeah, see, it's pulling away from that area. Now, my guess would be that it's headed back down to the support area. My guess would be it's headed back down to that support area. It's finding resistance up here. That would be my guess, guys. Oh, what about the 11570? I mean, right, if you move your stop loss there, is that in profit or is that your entry? Small loss. I take it you weren't trading this as one of the new setups. You were trading it as, you know, something on the higher time frames. So the new setups we've discussed, if you had entered it using the new setups, you'd probably be out with a 1-to-2 risk reward ratio. If you entered it on the 12-hour or something like that, as a normal reversal, you'd still be in this trade and it'd be moving against you. I think there's a very good chance it's dropping back down. Held over a weekend. I think there's a very high chance that if you move your stop to the 1.1570, that stop's going to be hit and you're going to take that small loss. I think there's a very high chance of that. Four-hour trade, that's still one of the higher time frame trades. It's not using the new setups. Yeah, I would say there's a high chance that your stop is going to be hit if you move it to the 11570. But hey, it could also just turn around from here and shoot up. That's the thing with trading. You never know what's going to happen. I'd personally suggest So it's really hard because I'm trying to think what I would do if I was in the trade, but when you're not in the trade, it's hard to say what you would do, right? So if you're in the trade, then it's easier to say, well, this is what I'm going to do. If you're not in the trade and you're trying to advise someone on it, you have to put yourself in the position where you're in the trade. But doing that, it's never realistic. Pretending that you're in a trade and then pretending to manage that trade to give advice, it's never realistic. So what I think I would do if I was in this trade is I would have closed it out already, so I wouldn't be in this position. But had I, been sleeping or something, I probably would just close out now. I wouldn't push my stop loss to a small loss. I'd be pretty convinced that this is going to push back down to that support area, and I would just close this out, call it a partial win or whatever. Not a win, but not a loss. Right, GBPUSD pushing up to this resistance area on the daily. This one's trending like crazy, isn't it? Let's see what happens at this resistance area. This is a major resistance area for GBPUSD. The 1.8400 pretty much. It's a major resistance area. We can see that prior to this huge drop, price bounced away from there. And it was a big bounce. This was a major bounce. Then Brexit and all that crazy stuff. Then it came back up here once more, shot away. Now it's up there again. Let's see what happens. I'm very interested to see this. Could be taking a reversal short from there. If it breaks through, could be taking a continuation. I'm actually gonna... I forgot to unmark these pairs. GBPUSD stalling out at this resistance area. Let's look for a short from here. It's a bit of a big indecision candle, so it would be hard to get a good stop loss and entry, but you could always try for a retrace entry, bend the rules a little bit. There is potential for a short trade here. Probably not a great one, but there is potential. So let's look for a short reversal from this resistance area, see if we can get into one. We could discuss it further on the forum as it develops. But like I said, right now, it looks very messy. We'd need to kind of tweak some things in order to get into this one. So it's probably, probably not going to happen, but let's keep an eye on it anyway. We might find a good entry there. New Zealand USD, this one's pushing down. This one was closed out because it wasn't really doing anything. We could see now it's like, this was, yeah, see, this was where it ended at the weekend. And now it's kind of made a new low. This could be a resumption of the downtrend. resuming of the downtrend. I don't know. It just sounds a bit weird. A resumption of the downtrend. Whatever. There was a rebound continuation here, kind of, but not really. It's just a very not that good setup. There is potential for a short trade here, guys. Break of that low, there's potential for a short trade, but just the risk to reward ratio is atrocious. Unless you want to have it before this resistance area, which always risky. But you know, with continuations, it's okay to have a little bit more risk with your stop losses and all that stuff because of the fact that it's a continuation, because it's with the trend. You can be a little bit more risky with the other side of things. I'm looking for a short trade here on New Zealand USD. Let's look for a short trade in line with this major downtrend. Could be a short continuation. Let's keep an eye on this one, guys. USD CAD, not really doing much. USD CHF, not really doing much either. USD JPY, yeah, nothing much. USD CHF, just for you guys with the new setups. This is the swing trading setup, the new swing trading setup. We are getting what looks to be a good setup here, so this one might trigger this week, so let's keep a close eye on it. But this is for swing trading, not for our older trade setups, our normal trade setups. Yeah, maybe Ash, but I don't really have an area there. I can see why you do, though. Yeah, if you want to trade it there, trade a continuation, that's fine. Not a huge fan of New Zealand JPY, to be honest. But there is definitely a setup there. Strong support area. Yeah, there is a New Zealand JPY long setup. Just not a fan of the pair. I just find it unreliable. I find it jaggedy. I never know the word for it. I just make up a word for it. But it basically means, I just find it unpredictable, really, is how I feel about this pair. Retraces are fine. That's not a problem. Yeah, I'm not going to enter this, but it is a valid setup, so you can enter it if you want. I just don't like the pair. Recently, I've been preferring to stick to the majors more than the cross pairs, but when I do trade cross pairs, it's usually the more normal cross pairs. This is a very, very unpredictable and weird cross pair. New Zealand USD, I mean, shouldn't really even be a major pair because there's so little actual trading done on New Zealand USD. So then you take New Zealand USD and USD JPY, multiply the rate of those, to get New Zealand JPY, because that's what cross pairs are. The rate of New Zealand USD, so 0.651 multiplied by the rate of USD JPY, 11141, equals the rate of New Zealand JPY. Let me show you what I mean. So we take this number, 0.651, times this number, 111.41, equals 7252, which is, well, I didn't put the numbers in exactly, and obviously this is always moving, so, but we can see that it's pretty much, that's what it equals. Point being, New Zealand USD, while I do trade New Zealand USD, obviously, it's not one of the, some of the cross pairs are traded more than New Zealand USD, which is supposedly a major. So you're taking a pair that's not traded a lot, New Zealand, a currency that's not traded a lot, the New Zealand dollar, then you're turning it into a cross pair by multiplying it with USD JPY to get New Zealand JPY, then you're trading that. I just don't really see I just don't really see why. Well, not why. It's hard to explain. I just don't really feel confident with New Zealand JPY. Yeah, but I don't like JPY crosses, period. So we're looking at a JPY cross of a pair that's not very traded very often. AUD New Zealand is a different story. I have that on my watch list. I rarely ever take trades on this one. Also, I just have it here because a lot of people ask me about AUD New Zealand. But at least AUD New Zealand is not a JPY cross. But all these weird crosses, even where is it? No, I don't have it here. I was going to show you Euro New Zealand. They all have a tendency to have unpredictable spikes, which makes it hard to trade them. I'm just not a fan of them. This one's going to stay on my watch list for a while, I guess, because we've discussed it now, so it's on there now, so I guess we'll look at it tomorrow and then blah, blah, blah. But as for me personally taking trades on them, New Zealand JPY or AUD New Zealand, it's going to be a rare thing. Are there any questions, guys? $8 a.m., 9 a.m. London time, around there. There is no official start of a session in Forex. It's basically when the bank's trading floor opens. Usually 9 a.m., but sometimes some banks open a bit earlier, 8 a.m. It's GMT plus, right now Britain's in BST, so yeah, 7 a.m., 8 a.m. GMT at the moment, but when British summertime ends, then it's going to be 8 a.m., 9 a.m. GMT. There's a clock on the website, man. Check out the clock. Surely you know the clock exists. I mean, you've been on the site for like years now. It's not hidden or anything. It's literally tools, Forex clock. Mm-mm-mm. 7-1. Basically where price is now. I mean, I guess you could have one there, but it started bouncing away from higher than that, and it hasn't. Yeah. You could have one there. It's not a great support resistance area. Doesn't have many major significant bounces. And even if you have one there, if you really want to place it there, it doesn't really make a difference because you can't go long from there because it's going to run into this much bigger established area which has major bounces from it. So you could place one there. It's a bit of a minor one. But like I say, let's say we place an area here. Right, now we have an area there. We take a long trade. Where does that long trade go? Smashes straight into the major resistance area that has major bounces. Price is already trending down. Price hits a major resistance area. What's most likely to happen? It's going to pull back and turn around. So it does seem like there is some minor support there, but I'm not going to have it as a major support resistance area. And I'm certainly not going to take a long trade from it when there is a major area. And when I say major, I mean a major area. See these two big bounces. There's a major area right above it. And that major area took quite a while to break. See how price tried to break it? So it's definitely still a valid and strong area. Price pulls back up to here. I won't be expecting it to just go straight through as if it's nothing, simply because it's pulling away from a minor support resistance area. I mean, it's already did a bit of a pullback. It's already done a pullback. That's the thing. It's more apparent on the lower time frames. This is kind of a rebound continuation. It's one of the newer setups that I shared on the forum. Sorry, in the course. This is a rebound continuation. It's already done a pullback. pullbacks happened. It's a bit of a risky one. This is not the best trade setup because the risk to reward ratio is not great, but you can get away with more in a continuation. This is a very strong downtrend. I think this has potential. I think I'm gonna enter short probably very soon after this webinar ends. There's a lot of questions today, so. $0.795. Honestly, I don't know. I don't like this one as much. I don't like this one as much at all. This one's just riskier in terms of stop loss placement. I'd want my stop loss above resistance, but let's say we even place our stop loss here. We've got a support area, which, let's be fair, the support resistance area down here hasn't been tested for a long time, so we don't know how well it'll hold. So I guess you have that on your side, but yeah, I don't like this one as much personally. What you could do, as always, is split your risk between New Zealand USD and AUDUSD. Guys, this is about to trigger, and I kind of want to run my risk analysis real quick and see if I can't get into this trade. So I'm going to call an end to this webinar because, I mean, these webinars are important, but my trading is how I make money. So I kind of want to actually get to the trading part of things before this triggers, and I just sit here talking and answering questions. I know that sounds bad, but I want to take a trade. So I can't do my risk analysis. I can't do all that stuff while I'm sitting here doing a webinar. I've done it before a few times, and it's led to me making mistakes and not thinking things through properly. Actually, there was an example of that, what, last week or 2 weeks ago, where, you know, there was a trade. It was a trade that was riskier than what I would normally take, but I took it. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking. Thank you guys for attending. I'm going to try and get into this trade. There is a good potential short here. Thank you guys for attending, and I'll see you for tomorrow's webinar.